Like I have no theme for today. It was sort of going to be let's see where the wind blows me today. Where I go, what we do, what we talk about. I thought about we could, get into a million different things. We've been talking a lot about evolution and creationism and God. We sort of have gotten off that a little bit this week. I did see a story yesterday where the powers that be in Washington were going to create a website. I don't know if you guys saw this. Going to create a website that will have photos and videos, or declassified photos and videos of aliens, not illegal aliens, alien aliens. So that's supposedly coming out. It says that it's an all-domain anomaly resolution office, or the AARO, will provide the public with declassified information about UFOs, or what the government calls unidentified anomalous phenomena. Is that going to affect you? Can you imagine 40 years ago some kind of confirmation that there were unidentified flying phenomena? Because when we were kids, they guarded those secrets like they were guarding the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. They didn't want anybody to see that stuff. Now, because there's too much out there, they really can't explain some of this stuff. And now I almost think, I'm so skeptical of the government now. You almost feel like every time they tell you something, there's an alternative motive, right? There's something ulterior going on behind the scenes. So they're telling me this. Why are they telling me this? Are they telling me this because they don't want me to know something? Are they saying, well, here's a website, go get your jollies, here's some pictures of potential aliens, but the truth is, it's this over here. Or look at this while Biden is destroying America. But why do you think they're releasing some of this stuff now? It could be that there actually is alien life, which I think most people out there, at least most people who have some idea of the vastness of space, would say to themselves, well, it seems like it makes sense that there is life on other worlds. It just, the math involved in that makes it nearly impossible that there isn't. The vastness, the infinity of space, you would have to think somewhere in the trillions, potentially, of planets. Think about that. There's so many stars, and there's so many galaxies, and there's so many universes. It's just crazy to think that there's not life. But then, people will say, well, how did they get here, the vastness of space? Well, we're only thinking from our perspective and what we have for technology of a civilization that's been around for 1 million years, when we've been around for, what, maybe 5,000, 10,000 years? At least this civilization, prior to the ones that were destroyed before it. And what we've accomplished is pretty remarkable in that tiny fraction of time. But if you think about millions of years, imagine where, if we don't kill each other, and I know I've said this before, and I hate to sound redundant, I hate that. But if we don't kill each other, where are we going to be in 1 million years? If we've only had recorded history for what? A handful of thousands of years. That's infinite. We don't know. Hell, we might be able to travel interdimensionally. We might be able to create a wormhole in the sky and jump from one place to a million miles, or 10 million miles, or 100 million. Who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows. What we've accomplished in this last 30 years with technology, blow you away. If you have any relatives who died before 1950, 1960, before we walked on the moon, they wouldn't believe what we've got going on now. It'd be impossible for them to believe it. So I guess that gets back to my original concept, which is, are they actually real video and proof that there are aliens, or have we as a species evolve to the point where we're creating these kinds of craft and we don't want anybody to know about it, which is also very plausible, right? I mean, if the Navy pilots who have videotaped their anomalies, well, maybe they don't know about the technology that we have now. Maybe it has leapt forward in the last 30 years. Maybe there have been crashes of other devices. Maybe, we have used technology, reversed the technology that we have found from other crafts and turned it into something for ourselves, and that's what we see flying around. But I just thought that was interesting that there's going to be a website out there where you can go take a look at the declassified info. Why is then some of it classified? Right? If it's a national security issue, as I've said to you before, that's one reason to classify something. But is it just because they don't think the public can handle it? Now, can the public handle it? Can the public maneuver around alien life? Or, as I've said to you before in the past, can the public handle a definitive answer about God? I think that's a great debate to have somewhere along the line as well. I don't know if they can. I don't know if we can. I think we can, alien-wise now. I feel like that we've moved far enough where even if you were to say there are species that visit us from time to time, I feel like we could handle that now. Back in the 50s and 40s, 50s, 60s, they'd probably freak out. Now I think we're a little bit more sophisticated, right? With every generation or a couple generations comes a level of intellect that changes slightly. You become more, I think, open to these kinds of possibilities, right? Everything changes. Cultures change. The way we view things change. I mean, do you think people who were alive during the Crusades and during, when Christopher Columbus was sailing, you think they were ever thinking about flying to the moon? No, of course not. I doubt it. I mean, maybe they were. I don't know. And that's another good question. Like, what was the imagination? Like, how far did the imagination go? Do we only have an imagination that catches up with our technology? I don't know if anybody's ever talked about that before. Right? What was the imagination of the folks who lived in the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s? What was the imagination of the folks who fought in the Revolutionary War? Did they think about the superpower that we would become? Did they think about the technology that would be born from their quest for freedom? Probably not. And just like, me and you are sitting here right now, can we even remotely comprehend what's coming? What kind of technology will follow us? Are you only able to conjure up certain things because of what your surroundings give you? Did Isaac Newton conjure up the same things that a scientist today can conjure up? I got to say, I don't think they could. Like, I don't think the imagination of somebody who was a farmer in the 1600s is the same as some young farmer who's plowing fields in Iowa, because they have more information to throw into their imagination.